And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the delayed or for the extended break. Went through 2 duct tapes and even listened to some Brood War OST, but the players are now ready. The vetoes are done. And up next, we have our first semifinals match. We just wrapped up with herO versus Solar, and herO looking damn good, damn powerful, damn cheesy in that series. And Dark, he just wrapped up with Nightmare, took down Nightmare 2-1 and has made it here to the semifinals. And here we go, spawning in the top right hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing CranKy Gaming. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player also representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. And if you so choose, if you're in the chat, you can place your bets. Predictions are currently open. I think they're open for another minute upon hearing this message, so you don't have too much time. You don't have too much time to place your bets on who you think is going to make it to the grand finals. Is it going to be the Protoss or the Zerg? As a reminder, the upper semis are underway. Bjorn versus Cure. So we have a Terran confirmed for the finals. Whether it's a TVP or a TVZ, yet to be determined. We're here to find out. Here we go. Now we do have a hatch gas pool opener from Dark. Is going to be a little bit of an earlier hatchery here. Is able to get it up on time when it needs to. And Dark isn't able to really disrupt... Sorry, herO isn't able to disrupt Dark too much here in the early game, as herO is going for a gain expand. Again, a very economic opener here from herO. Into that cyber core, of course. And we are getting into the swing of things. And I do have to echo a sentiment that was said in the chat. We say this very often as well, about how Dark and herO, they're always a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to cast. And I 100% agree. Dark and herO, they face off very regularly. They are probably the 2 highest performing players when it comes to the online tournament circuit amongst the Koreans for their respective races. So in tournaments like KSL, Kung Fu Cup, ESL Open Cup Asia, ESL Open Cup Americas, herO and Dark, they face off a lot because, you know, they're some of the best players in the world. So, so they do play against each other a lot. Likewise, Bjorn as well, of course. Bjorn and Cure are also very active. But herO versus Dark is something that we cast on a weekly basis. They face off very often in these online tournaments, and they always provide some really entertaining games. I think I want to put it more on Dark. Like, Dark is very aggressive. Very rarely does Dark go for a standard game, or I should say, very rarely does Dark go for a macro game against herO. Likewise, herO can also be hyper aggressive as well. We've seen him go for these Zealot Oracle all-ins. We've seen him go for these like Fleet Beacon rushes as well into Skytoss, Glaive Adepts, you name it. It's like herO, he does anything under the sun here against Dark. And Dark, he likes it. He meets herO in kind when it comes to all-ins, when it comes to like Nidus Queen roach pushes, you know, the German taxi across the map, the creep highway, you name it. And already something a little bit spicy, a little bit different. It is going to be a Void Ray first. Now, we casted herO versus Solar earlier, and we have been seeing some Void Ray play out of herO, yes, but usually it's an Oracle into the Void Ray to kind of hide whether we're going to be committing to any other units, and to still focus on harass across the map. To go for the Void Ray first tells me that herO, he's not really too concerned, or he's respecting Dark a lot. He's really expecting not to do too much damage with the Oracle, and it makes sense. Dark, he is renowned for his Queen control, his Queen defense as well. Like, it's really damn good. So for herO to delay his Oracle, it does make a lot of sense. First Void Ray comes out, he goes across the map and is going to hunt down one of these Overlords. The Overlord that was across the map is intentionally left alone just so we can get some more Overlord kills, and one already goes down. We're going for a second as well. And are we going to get it? It's going to be close. There is not enough engine for transfuse. The second Overlord will fall. And this Overlord here is basically a confirmed third Overlord kill. So a lot of value out of this one Void Ray. Meanwhile, the Oracle does make its way into the main. The Queens are in position, as to be expected. Again, this Oracle was delayed, and the Queens are more than ready for it. Overlord goes into the main base, confirms a second Oracle that's on the way, as well as a Forge and a Twilight Council. So a standard follow-up. Unlike the previous games where, if you remember, game number 3 of herO versus Solar, we saw herO skip his Forge and go straight into Charge instead. Likewise, sorry, that was, I think, game 2, if I recall correctly. Game 1 was for a faster Forge into a delayed Twilight Council. So we do see a much more standard setup here. So Dark, he knows that there's nothing crazy going on. There's nothing that should really catch him off guard. There shouldn't be a big charger all-in, is what I'm saying. Meanwhile, the Adepts make their way across the map, and a lot of workers get caught out mid-transfer. 5 drones. Aye. The Oracles may not have done too much damage, but the Adepts more than make up for it. 5 workers go down. The Adepts do recall back home. At the same time, 2 Oracles dip into the main, but no, we have Queens in position. Dark deflects the Oracles, but still lost a lot. You can see how efficient herO has been. Looking at the units lost tab, 0 units have gone down for herO. Very efficient trades. Behind this, Templar Archives is on the way, so Charger Archon into... Charger Archon with +1 on the horizon here for herO. The Adepts are looking to hit the field once again. And Dark should be free to expand. He's actually going to be double expanding, taking a 4th and a 5th at the same time, as well as a macro hatch. Dark, he's got some catching up to do. But again, with that Link Scout, it also confirms that we have continued pro production. He sees the Archon as well, so he gets confirmation that it is not Blink, it is Charged Archon. And Dark knows. He's fully aware. And we'll see what he goes for. Interesting choice here. So we have a Balian S on the way. Roach Warden is already done. So it's going to be Ling Bane Roach Ravager, which is a pretty standard army composition here in the mid game. Does make plenty of sense for Dark. As the Oracles are going to be threatening that 4th, but the Queens do swat them away. And herO initially did a lot of damage, but now isn't really doing too much. He's doing a good job, though, at just keeping an eye on the saturation. He confirms that the 4th base is fully saturated, so he's aware that, again, Dark isn't going for an all-in, that he is droning. And now herO can hit the field. He's going to be looking to clean up a lot of the supply. Sorry, a lot of the creep. Had maybe some supply as well. But he has to be careful not to overextend. Here we go. We do have a massive Orbit of Zealots behind this. Roach reinforcements are trickling on in. The Zealots are getting on top of the Queens. But the army, the Roaches, arrive just in time for Dark. He pushes back the main force of herO. Good juggling out of herO, saving those Archons. And that does allow for these Zealots to get a little bit more value. They're pushing on forward. They're looking to break Dark here at his 3rd base. 19-20 Roaches are in production. But they're not out yet. herO doing a surprising amount of damage here with this timing. Behind this, working on Blink, on Robotics Bay, on Immortal production, but workers are going down. This is getting out of hand. This is getting out of control. Dark will clean this up. He will hold on, but I spoke too soon. We got another Orbit of Zealots, and it looks like herO may just have too much. Oh, as we do have reinforcements trickling on in, and Dark may be able to hold on, but this is game-ending damage. 25 drones just went down. And again, herO, he's got Colossus on the way. He's got +2, Blink as well, 4th base up and running. Like herO, he's already working on the next step, working on the next stage. He was committed with that attack, but he was by no means all in. And now Dark, he's hurting. He's limping along. Is just trying to recover here, but he's got a lot of recovering to do. Dark, he's down in workers. He's about to be down when it comes to an army as well, or he is down in army supply. And herO is slowly just building up a death ball that the Dark can't really contend against. More drones going down. This Void Ray going ham here on this fresh base. On the 5th. And here we go. Here comes the second wave, the second push. This time it's not just Charge Lots and Archons. This time Blink Stalkers, Immortal, Colossus as well. We do have a Warp Prism, but it's across the map. It's not here to reinforce or to help juggle these high-tech units. It's going for a drop into the main. 5th base is going to go down. We have a Zealot Ramba here at the 4th, and Dark just doesn't have the supply. He doesn't have the numbers here to defend in multiple places at once. Warp in into the main. Dark is being pulled apart. It's just too much. Even a stasis into the 3rd. The Zealots have still not been cleaned up. They're still posing a threat. hero's gonna back off. Again, he's ahead anyway. Like, he does, like, there's nothing forcing hero to push into this 3rd. As he is taking a 5th base behind this, or he can look to take a 5th. And speaking of getting further ahead, Fleet Beacon is on the way for Skydust. GG gets called. We don't even commit to the final fight, as herO is too far ahead, and herO takes game number 1. GG. Oh. Again, herO was quite committed with his attack, but we also saw how close Dark was cutting it. Dark actually didn't really have too much of an army until the push came out. It's like he was barely just like squeezing out those roaches from those eggs, cutting it very close there, and alas, he just barely wasn't able to muster up defense in time. A lot of that also comes down to the control of herO. It wasn't just the timing of the attack, but herO had some great juggling with his prism on those Archons, and a big reason for that is because the Queens of Dark went down very quickly early on. They were the first to go down. With the death of those Queens, that meant that we just didn't really have a lot of anti-air to punish and to deny that Warp Prism. So herO, he was free to just juggle and, of course, preserve his units, preserve his Archons, his sentries. So really well executed attack out of herO. And again, Dark, he was cutting it close, cutting it very close there in the defense, droning as much as he could, delaying his roach production as long as he did as well. Ooh. And in the end, he was punished. In the end, he barely did not have enough. He was broken. Was broken. GG. GG, well played. And here we go. We're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing CranKy Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. Towards the end as well, we did see herO working towards the Fleet Beacon. Like, again, just getting further and further ahead. But now we're getting into game 2. Of course, we can just kind of reset our mental states a little bit and talk about the map, talk about the game itself. Dark going for a hatch first. Hatch gas pool. On a map like Neo Humanity, herO has options. Now, we have been casting a lot of herO versus Dark recently. And herO has been quite fond of going for these fast Fleet Beacons on Neo Humanity. Just being very defensive, very turtly, and rushing into Skytoss. I wonder if he will do that here. Again, herO versus Dark, there's a lot of metagaming going on, a lot of mind games going on because they face off so often. So when it comes to play that either player is kind of used to or that they do commonly, I feel like they don't do that here when they play against each other. Just because they don't want to be predictable. So we'll see if herO makes use of the defensive features of Neo Humanity or if he makes use of the aggressive features. Of course, Neo Humanity has a lot of choke points, has a lot of points of elevation, so it's very easy to, or it's a lot easier here to expand, take your 3rd, take your 4th, and be very defensive as a Protoss player. Likewise, you can also be hyper aggressive. If you knock down the rocks in the center of the map, something like a 3-base all-in can hit very hard for either player, whether it's the Zerg or the Protoss. It does work either way. It is terrifying either way. So we'll see if either one takes the bait and goes for that. For now, herO, he's going to be patrolling here at the forward third base location, going to be delaying the third. And Dark is going to take the center base, and this is already the first piece of the puzzle. Now, if you do want to go for a big 3-base all-in as a Zerg player, taking the center base is a part of that. It does provide you to just spread creep so quickly across the map. It gives you access to this Wretch Vespene Gas Geyser as well. This doesn't 100% mean that Dark is going to go for like a Roach Queen walk across the map, but it gives him the potential to do so. Meanwhile, back at home, do have a gate expand straight into that Stargate. Is going to be an Oracle opener. As to be expected here from herO. I say as to be expected. If you remember, winding it all back on Ancient Cistern, herO did go Void Ray first, and he killed 3 Overlords with that first Void Ray. Like, such efficient trades from herO. Took him a long time to lose the units. But this time, it's an Oracle. Tis an Oracle. Dark back at home, just going to be droning on up, getting his spores up and running. And the spores will finish just in time as the first Oracle has hit the field. Behind this, herO, he's expanding. He has his Adepts in position. Lings are about to come in to try to harass and cancel this third base, but the Adepts are here and an Oracle comes out just in time. herO's third is safe and sound. Meanwhile, across the map, 3 drones did go down. Interesting choice. Very suspect. Dark throws down a very early Roach Warren. This was a 4-minute Roach Warren. And there is no reason to get a Roach Warren this early on, especially against a Stargate opener, unless you're going to be hyper-aggressive. And yep, there we go. The rocks are being knocked down. Already piecing this all together with the fast Roach Warren, with the center base, with the rocks being knocked down. Dark, it looks like he is going for a big, committed Roach Queen push. For a big all-in. Now, herO also has been able to piece this together. Like, again, I believe herO did see the Roach Warren. Yeah, no, he hasn't seen the Roach Warren, but he does see that the rocks are already being nibbled away at. The creep as well. We'll see if herO can defend in time. He's already got a shield battery on the way, a second pylon as well. Dark is droning, though. He's going to be droning up to around 50. Just going to be saturating the center base, and there we go. The roaches are now on the way. Stasis trap did go off in the main base, and oh, that's a lot of lost mine time in the main. And that is so crucial here. Again, these all-ins are so crisp. You need as much money as possible to make as many units as you can. We have a second shield battery. Immortals are on the way. We have a robotic spade for disruptors. Bold move here from herO. Here we go. The roaches are coming forward. Dark cutting workers here at 47. Ravagers are being morphed in. 16 more Lings are in production. So again, Dark is going to be committing. This is taking a little bit longer to get underway, but a big reason for that is just because of all the delayed mining that we've had this game. As herO's getting confirmation of what's coming his way. And Dark is now pulling the trigger. Now herO, he has shield batteries already set up, not just at his third, but also at his natural. First Immortal has arrived. And we'll see if Dark can pull this off. Again, he is very all-in with this. Force fields are thrown down. Biles will not connect. The Queens are waddling on forward as well. And the wall is not a wall. The Lings do bust in for a moment. But they don't quite gain too much ground. Overcharge is popped, and herO is holding. He does clean up a lot of those Lings. The first disruptor has arrived. Nova goes off. And a massive connection on the Queens. Only one Queen survives. Sorry, 2 Queens. And Dark is droning. He has recognized that he cannot kill his opponent. He cannot end the game. He's droning. He's working on a lair, Evo Chamber, Bailey Nest, all at the same time. Now, the problem is that this tech is very late. It's very late from Dark. Oh, God! Big Nova goes off. Does connect with those Ravagers. Oh, a bit of friendly fire. The Nova connected with the Immortal, actually. And a Roach. A little bit of miscontrol from herO, but regardless, he holds on, and that's what matters. And he's ahead. herO, he's up in workers, he's even on bases. He's on 68, soon to be 69 drones, probes. Nice. Compared to the 50 of Dark. So Dark is in a really rough place right now. And he has to rely on herO to make mistakes. And we already saw one, right? Like herO, he accidentally novaed one of his own immortals, and that meant that the immortal died instantly to like a couple of roach hits. Things like that, you know, if herO were to overextend, if he were to expose himself, there's a lot of creep. There's at least that going Dark's way, and herO has to be careful. Does have to take care as he's taking a fourth. Continued disruptor production. Blink on the way. For now, Dark is just focusing on droning and taking up, and meanwhile herO is just going to be solidifying himself. Building up more stalkers. More disruptors. These disruptors are a blessing in disguise a little bit. Like, obviously these disruptors, they have so much potential to annihilate a roach army. But if the Novas whiff, and if the Novas go down, then again, Dark can take a fight. Disruptors, they're high risk, high reward. If they don't get the best connections, then Dark can turn this around. Even here, one disruptor went down for a Ravager. Not the best trade for herO. He is getting out of control though. Nova goes off. Big connection on those lings. Aye, aye, aye. Up. Biles are doing what they can. Nova's go off once again, toning away the army. We blink on forward, on top of the army as well. Queens are falling left and right, and even without the disruptors, there may just be too much Protoss. As the Novas are good enough. We're able to blink on forward as well, and I wanted a longer series. I think we all wanted a longer series, but that's not what we're getting. GG gets called. herO will take it 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. herO looking powerful here in game 1, being very assertive, very aggressive, and game 2 showcasing his defensive prowess, able to deflect the all-in from Dark and take a massive lead from there. GG. GG. Congratulations to herO as he advances on to the grand finals. My condolences to Dark. Again, all-ins, as much as, you know, as much as they can be hyper-aggressive and, you know, we cut workers, because all-ins, because you cut workers so early on, every drone matters that much more. And for Dark to lose workers to the Oracles, for that stasis trap, for the lost mining time in the main base, like, these economic losses really do slow you down so much more when you only have 47 workers to begin with, for example. So yeah, that did slow down Dark. On top of that, really good scouting. Really good scouting out of herO. With his adepts, with his oracles, he was able to identify exactly what Dark was up to when it came to the base being taken, the creep, the early roach warren, the roach production as well. herO was able to prepare ahead of time. Again, he had plenty of shield batteries, plenty of overcharge. I love that he wasn't overreacting. He had a robotics bay on the way for disruptors for after the initial hold, so he could counterattack, and yeah, just really well played out there by herO. Unfortunately, there were just a little bit, there were too many tells from Dark to kind of, for him to be identified as to what he was doing, and, you know, knowing is half the battle, but it's, you know, a pretty big part of the battle, especially at this level of play. We saw how much Solar struggled when he was playing in the Dark, when he didn't know what herO was up to. Does make the world of difference. And again, congratulations. Congratulations herO. My condolences to Dark. Dark was the Zerg representative, and at least the Zerg made it to the semis. But we have our finals up next. It is going to be herO versus Beyond.